Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Private KJ, Shot Callers Podcast, back here with another video. Today we're here to talk about the Tuesday games, yesterday's games, as we all know. So if you enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Ladies, gentlemen, and ballers. Today is day 13, if I believe. Bradley Beal still being a part of the team. My boy Dane, shout out to Dane by the way. He sent me a screenshot. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Bradley Beal does not want to leave. So I was pretty excited about that. I saw something on Bleacher Report as well saying how like Bradley Beal believes that the trade rumors have been gassed up basically for no reason. I truly believe that he does not want to leave, and if he wanted to leave, he would have said so by now. I think it's just kind of the media just trying to get him out of there just so they can put him on a contender for views. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it does seem like he wants to stay. So maybe eventually this kind of little day 14, 15, yada, yada, yada will come to an end. But yeah, shout out to you, Dane, for sending me that. Kind of gave me some reassurance. But anyways, let's get right into these games. There really wasn't too many games, but I was able to watch at least most of them. And we're going to begin with the Raptors and the Magic. I'm really just going to keep this a little short. It's going to get to 10 minutes probably, but just like I said, since there weren't as many games, there's really no need to talk about too much, especially since most of them were pretty much like blowouts. Well, we'll see. But we're here to talk about the Raptors and Magic first, and this one, if you missed out, was an historic game. Easily I believe, a top 30 game overall. Fred VanVleet, if you were not aware, dropped about 54 points, a career high, and I think he broke the Toronto Raptors scoring record, if I believe so, which was previously held by DeMar DeRozan. It was really an insane game. Now, they did play the Magic again, and as we all know, the Magic are desecrated with injuries and just really not that talented of a team, regardless, outside of Vucevic. But I don't want to take anything away from Fred VanVleet. Now, the weird part about it is, whenever I mention the Toronto Raptors, I really haven't talked about Fred all that much. And maybe that's my fault. I should start talking about him more, because if you had asked Toronto fans if Fred deserved a contract and if he's been playing up to his contract, a lot of them would be saying no. But if you really dive into it, he really has been. He's been fine this year. He's been impressive, very efficient. The defense has been there when he's locked in, and the most impressive part, besides 54 points, was he had 3 steals and 3 blocks, and that's something you can appreciate. Fred has just been there, and I think it's just because how Toronto's had an up and down season. Maybe that's why. But I shout out to Fred VanVleet. It's about time I show the man some love. He's been very good this year and very slept on. For as much as I want to talk about Kyle Lowry and I don't know who else, Lowry, Pascal, Watanabe, shout out to my boy Watanabe. But yeah, as much as I want to talk about those two, I never show Fred the proper love. So shout out to him. But for the Magic, though, I mean, nothing too surprising here. They haven't been good all year. Vucevic, if he doesn't play well, they're guaranteed basically a loss, in my opinion. But yeah, it's hard to judge the Magic with like so many key players injured, and even when they are healthy, what is there still, like a 6 seed at best in the East? So yeah, I don't know. It's tough for the Magic, though. But we're going to move on from there. We're going to go to the Clippers and the Nets first. And this was a very exciting game. Kyrie turned up. KD shot like 11 for 13, if I'm not mistaken. Kawhi played good defense. And the Clippers did fall by 4. But I don't want them to hang their heads too much. I think if a few more things went their way, this could have been a totally different game. But I will give Steve Nash credit. He finally started Jeff Green again, and you could tell. I'm not saying they played perfect defense, but you could tell that the small ball lineup was definitely better than just kind of rolling out DJ for like 25, 30 minutes. I definitely like Jeff Green at the 5 a lot better than DeAndre Jordan. But I do want to mention, though, Kyrie did go off. I'm getting a little annoyed at this narrative that, Kyrie needs to take a back seat to KD and Harden. Like, no. Kyrie is good enough and talented enough to where he can be the leading shot taker. Maybe not consistently, but he can be a leading shot taker on any given night, and it should not matter. I am convinced also that Harden will probably lead the league in assists this year. But yeah, it's tough, man. Like when you have 3 elite ISO scorers who can get their own bucket at any given time, it is hard. Like I'm watching Kawhi and Paul George play the best defense they can, but I'm thinking to myself, because they don't have Patrick Beverley, they can just kind of slap on Kyrie, even though Patrick Beverley's not sticking Kyrie, no matter how good of a defender he is. It was just tough. So at the end of the day, this was just a really great game. Nothing too worried about for the Clippers. I'm curious to see come playoff time when they have their full roster who's going to guard who, because when I picture it, when Patrick Beverley's healthy, I imagine he will guard Kyrie. I imagine Paul George will guard Harden and Kawhi will guard Kevin Durant. But for this game, I kind of thought Batum would guard Kevin Durant and Kawhi would guard Harden, put Paul George on Kyrie. But all in all, yeah, it was just a tough loss to the Clippers. And I was very curious to see how Serge Ibaka and Zubac would hold up. They didn't play bad. I thought Ibaka played fine, but when Zubac was out there, I don't know. You can give or take. He had his moments, but I don't know. Luke Kennard continues to be a very huge question mark and a very questionable trade for this team. I don't really feel like his impact is felt on this team, nor I think he's being utilized in the proper way. But it's hard when you have Paul George and Kawhi as your staple. So yeah, I just want to mention that. Now we get to the Wizards versus Trailblazers. Fortunately, my Wizards came back down to earth. They lost to the Portland Trailblazers by 11. But as much as I want to say, Westbrook had a fine game. I mean, shot 40, like 7% from the field, 33% from 3. Like, it's not like he played terrible. I mean, the defense really wasn't there, of course. Bradley Beal showed up, 37. Like, of course, offensively, those two will typically show up as long as Westbrook's back and healthy, I think. But at the end of the day, defense is where you need to play. And of course, our team cannot play defense to save their lives. Shout out to Rui though, 24 points. He played great, but damn, is Davis Bertans looking bad right now? Like, this is bad. Like, at the end of the day, like, I understand that Scott Brooks is not exactly helping him, but there's just times where he's just missing wide open threes. Like, he has to make those shots. Like, at the end of the day, when you're signed for a 5-year, $80 million contract, like, you gotta be playing better than this. And I was one of the people who thought I thought it was a great contract. I did think we overpay him just a little bit, but I truly thought at the end of the day, you have to overpay for shooting in this league. And I thought Bertans was going to be fine to where the direction we were heading in, because I didn't see us getting anywhere. I thought they wanted to be a playoff team, and I think Bertans was doing that job. I know I should expect championship, but at the end of the day, it's the Wizards. I'll get what I can get, if that makes sense. But yeah, Bertans is just not looking good, and it's making me very nervous. For Portland though, Gary Trent torched us, Damian Lillard torched us, Covington torched us. I mean, Trent's just like a kind of like this off and on player. Some days he shows up, some days he doesn't. You get what you get with him, and this was one of the days he showed up. Carmelo Anthony though, we let him drop 21. Like, we can't be happy. Like, I'm here. Let me check the box score. Give me 1 second. Enes Kanter 14 and 15. Robert Covington 19 and 9. Gary Trent 26. Lillard, of course, he'll drop his buckets. Rodney Hood 15. Carmelo Anthony 21. You're not gonna win when you're having those type of role players just kind of get buckets. It's just that simple. Our role players didn't step up like they did. And at the end of the day, that's what you're gonna get. That's really all I have to say for that. I'm gonna keep that short as well. Next up, though, we have the Pistons and the Jazz. The Jazz get another good win. Donovan Mitchell did play 32 points, showed up great. Bogdanovich 18, Royce Finney chipped in 12 and 13 boards. Shout out to him with 3 steals and a block. He played great. Mike Conley 20 points. Gobert 9 and 7, but you could tell his presence was felt. Jordan Clarkson did not have his greatest shooting split in the first half, but second half he picked it up and finished with 12 points. Shout out to him. The Jazz just continue to look impressive, play as a team. Quinn Snyder has them playing together, and that's what all you can really ask for at the end of the day. For the Pistons side, though, Jeremy Grant continued to do his thing. Blake Griffin looks lost and a little bit old, 11 points only on bad shooting. Mason Plumlee, though, 17 and 14. That's tough. I didn't start him for fantasy basketball that game. I really thought Rudy Gobert was going to... Damn. Shout out to Mason Plumlee. I guess I should have started him. But I'm only starting him, by the way, because I have injuries. But he actually has been decent for fantasy basketball. But anyway, then let's move on. Josh Jackson played great, 22 and 8. This was just a frustrating loss. I could kind of tell visibly if you watch that game. The Pistons just kind of got frustrated. But I mean, I'd be frustrated too if we were that bad. But they did play hard. I will give it to them. But lastly, that was a quick one. There's not really much for them to talk about, or to talk about. I mean, it's the Jazz versus the Pistons. We expect the Pistons to lose that one. We expect the Jazz to play like a playoff team, as they should. The last one I'm more excited to talk about. I think this was my favorite game of the day, which was the Celtics versus the Warriors. I remember the Warriors had like an 8 to 10 point lead in the first half, and before the half ended, the Celtics clawed their way back, and I think they took the lead. Tatum 27 points. Brown had a solid night. Kemba Walker, bad shooting splits, but finished with 19. Jaylen Brown, by the way, I want to point out, he did not shoot the ball very well this game. I want to point that out. Grant Williams, though, did step up for them off the bench and provided very good scoring outputs. I will get to the Celtics. Let me just kind of go to the Warriors first before I talk about the Celtics. I sort of mentioned them in my last video, but Wiggins 15, Curry cooked up today. Draymond continues to be a presence on the floor. In case you did not know, though, James Wiseman is out for about a week. He did not play like a sprained wrist or something like that. They said about 7 to 10 days. But Kevin Looney, we all know what he provides, about 15 minutes of play, just quality big man minutes off the bench. But he did start today. This guy, Juan, sorry if I pronounced you wrong, Toscano Anderson, shout out to you, 15 points off the bench. I'm gonna learn. I will learn your name now. Just like I learned Watanabe, I made it a mission to look up because I'd like to know every single player in the NBA if I do not know him. So Juan, shout out to you, 16 points off the bench. You played great. Kent Bazemore played great as well. But I'm not really here to talk about the Warriors. I really want to talk about the Celtics because Boston's making me really nervous. Now, I mentioned how their lack of size is a main issue in the East, but I want to focus more on Kemba for a couple minutes now. I remember in the free agency, I mentioned if the Celtics can get Malcolm Brogdon in a few pieces, I think that would make them a lot better. Now, this was before Jaylen Brown made his leap to like elite, like I think star, maybe a tick lower than superstar. But I remember I was like, wow. And when they signed Kemba Walker, at first I was like, okay, this can be something. But the injuries started piling up, and that's what I got nervous about. It's hard to kind of gauge how you feel about Kemba because when he's not scoring the ball efficiently, what does he bring you to the table? It's not defense. It's not elite playmaking. He's an okay playmaker at best. And it's tough because the Celtics can be so much better if they have a Malcolm Brogdon type player, which, by the way, Malcolm Brogdon has been an all-star this year. I'm talking maybe last year's Malcolm Brogdon, which was like a 20 points, 6 assists on quality efficiency, like 18 to 20 points. This year he's been a lot better. But I was thinking Malcolm Brogdon and like better role players because you can tell this bench is not good. They don't have that depth to kind of get them over the hump, and that's what really scares me. Now, if Kemba Walker comes back healthy, even though he hasn't been back, if he starts picking it back up, I should say, then we can start talking differently. But it's just hard because I don't trust him in the playoffs now because at the end of the day, if he's not showing up, who are they going to put in? Jeff Teague? Like, no, Jeff Teague has not been good. Pritchard, I understand. Pritchard has been more impressive than I really thought, but do we really trust Pritchard at the end of the day? He has to prove it. At least I should mention that. He has to at least prove it. I keep seeing how Celtics fans are wanting Aaron Naismith to play more. I'm not really understanding the hype. I promise you, Brad Stevens is a good enough coach where if Aaron Naismith was playing good enough, he would be playing more. Let me just mention that. I don't think Brad Stevens is just refusing to like play Naismith. Like no. He is one of like I'd probably say like a top 5 to 7 coach in the league. He is smart enough to understand if Naismith was playing well enough, he would be getting the minutes. But yeah, I just kind of want to tackle that for a couple minutes. It does make me a little nervous that Kemba just not been very good this year. But overall, though, Celtics will be a playoff team. Tatum, Brown, stars in this league. Yep, that's basically all I need to say. With that said, though, this will conclude the video. Tune in this Sunday around 12 noon in our first podcast. Me and Cardi will be running it up. Just talking about random things about the NBA for now long. And if you guys join in the chat, start interacting with us, maybe we can tackle some questions that you guys have about the channel, about NBA, or just anything. But yeah, with that said, that will conclude the video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Private KJ out.